everybody, it's Mark Mazzatenta. I'm here to help strengthen your guitar skills, and today's topic is comping with smooth voice leading. So what does that mean? It means when you're playing the chords, you're accompanying, you're playing the chords, you want it to be in a smooth voice leading fashion, okay, which means you don't want to be jerking back and forth between one chord shape and another. Jazz guitar players are really good at this kind of very slick way of getting from one chord to the next with a minimal amount of voice leading. And by voices, you can almost think of a choir: soprano, altos, tenors, basses. And I always tell my students, listen to the soprano. Okay, so it's this technique of where you're creating a melody while you accompany. So even though you're playing chords, you're thinking about that top pitch, usually on string 1 or 2, like a soprano part would be pretty prominent. So you're listening to that top voice while you play your chords, and you hope that it's a nice, smooth, slick melody. And so I'm going to use the 1-6-2-5 chord progression. It's very common. I'll do it in E flat, and you've all heard this pattern before. Okay, so E flat major, C minor, F minor to B flat 7. So what you don't want to do is something like maybe going back and forth and pitches are just dropping or ascending and dropping. Okay, you want to think more horizontal. So here are some techniques you can do. Take a chord progression like a 1-6-2-5, okay, and work on keeping the same soprano pitch as those chords move. So I'm going to just use the 3 pitches from an E flat triad and try to keep each of those in the top voice. So I'm going to start by keeping an E flat. Okay. Obviously, that's the root of our first chord, so that's super easy to keep there. E flat. And my C minor chord. Okay, if I keep playing the E flat on the 2nd string, it connects it really slick. E flat, C minor. My next chord is F minor. If I play that same pitch, that's the 7th of an F minor chord, that works. And then a B flat normally doesn't have an E flat note in it, but you can play, okay, that would be labeled B flat 11, and it's a substitute for B flat 7. You can think about it as an A flat triad with a B flat in the bass. So you get soprano pitch. Okay, let's try it with a G. So I'm going to try to keep that G note on top. Okay, that worked out pretty well. Okay, so the G ends up being on the 2nd string if we play an E flat major 7 chord. Okay, and then I can play a C minor 7. That G is still on the 2nd string. Now, the next chord is F minor, and a G is not normally in that, so you have to figure out a way to add it. I'm going to just play F minor 9. Okay. And then in a B flat chord, that's the 6th. Or the 13th, so I can play a B flat 13 chord. And now I can keep that G in the soprano the whole time. Now let's use the B flat note and try to keep that. first string on my E flat major bar chord. On my C minor chord, I can either do it here, or I suppose I could play my 8th fret C minor, and then with my pinky add that B flat on the 11th fret of the 2nd string. You can sometimes finger these things in different ways. So we have E flat, C minor, F minor, and you have to have a B flat in there. So you could use your F minor 7 bar chord and just use your pinky again to grab that B flat. I'm going to change the shape a little bit. Okay, and then it's the root of the B flat. So it sits right on top there. Okay, so that was an exercise keeping the same soprano pitch as the chords moved. What about getting a little bit more chromatic? Okay, when we get to the 2-5 portion of that chord progression, right here, oftentimes you'll hear in the soprano, or you'll hear so I could do E flat major, C minor. Now here, I can use my F minor 9, so I've got a G on top, and I'm going to chromatically descend by half step. So that means on my B flat chord, I'm going to have a sharp 5, and on my E flat major, E flat major 7 with a 9th on top. Now I'm going to use the C, B natural, B flat on top when that 2-5-1 comes around, like this, right here. So that was F minor 7, it's got a nice C on top. I'm going to descend it by half step. So on my B flat 7, add a flat 9, which is that B natural. And then it descends again by half step and resolves. Okay, so that used some chromatics. The third exercise would be to create a soprano line that either ascends or descends. Okay, let's ascend. And I'm going to play a ascending line that you'll hear. Okay, so I'm playing the major 7th of our 1 chord. That's a D note. Now on a C minor chord, I can have an E flat on top. On the F minor, keeps the line going. B flat 7, I can keep that there, and then I want to ascend to a G in the soprano. So I've got how about descending? I will start a little bit higher up here on an E flat major 7. I've got a D as my first soprano pitch, and that's going to descend D, C, B flat, A flat, G. I can do it like this. And so we've got our 1 chord with the major 7th on top, our C minor, which is the 6th chord, and it's got the root on top, so it's I'm going to go down to the B flat, and that fits over my F minor chord. And then on my B flat 7, the A flat is usually that lowered 7th anyway, so that's easy. And then it resolves down a half step to my E flat major 7. So try those exercises. They're fun. They require a lot of brain power because you have to think about chord tones. That's a nice little challenging puzzle for you. So why don't I just improvise that 1, 6, 2, 5, and you'll see what kind of things happen in the soprano. All right, everyone, have fun with those exercises. I hope you will like them, and I know you'll like the resulting, slick sound of that voice leading. Happy practicing. See you at the next video.